Oops, Faker did it again. What's going on, GameLeap? It's Brittany Jizz back at it, and in today's video we're going to be finding out why Faker goes 0 and 11 again. I feel as if I'm becoming what Mid-Beast is to Doper at this point, just the Jizz to Faker. So yes, in this game we're about to watch, Faker arguably runs it down the mid lane, gets solo killed, gets stomped, makes his teammates rage quit. It's quite the spectacle, but his opponent applies a few key tips that allow him to take down the 3-time world champion, and we're going to reveal exactly what these are so you can go out in your games and do the same thing. Now if that's not enough for you wanting to smash it this season, then something else you can think about doing is signing up to the GameLeap website. Thousands of your fellow summoners are thriving off our up-to-date content this season, hundreds of courses, guides, and videos, so guys, do the same. Links as always in the description and comment section. Alright, let's get into it and figure out why Akali pulls out the 0-11 card again, and the first thing this Akali does well who he's up against is trading with Faker at level 1 here. After Faker lands his change, you might be like, why not try to dodge them? Well, what else is on Akali's side here, guys? Her minions, that's right, so even though Faker lands a skill shot, he is diving into not only Akali, but a few minions too. So even if this trade was somewhat even, Akali's positioning here is key. So in your games, the most reliable way of playing any lane is in and around your minions, so that when that enemy champion jumps onto you, it's not just a 1v1. But here's the thing as well, guys. Most players in lower elos wouldn't actually get this much damage out of Akali or their champion of choice because they don't yet know the makeup of their champion and therefore their strengths and weaknesses. So in this lane, Akali is running Conqueror, and this keystone, guys, is all about extended trades and getting to max stacks as quickly as you can. So knowing this, our challenger Akali is like, oh, you want some, do you, Faker? And returns fire, auto-attacking and queuing, proccing her passive for extra damage, and ends up out-damaging Faker in this trade. It doesn't look that way because they're on similar HP, but Silas's base health at level 1 is a little higher, and Faker pops a pod at the end of this trade as well. So it's essential, guys, if you're to climb, to understand your trading pattern. How do you go about maximizing your damage output at each level? Are you about short trades, long trades, all-ins? Understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your main champion. Like, that is why one-tricks are so hard to play against, because they know everything there is to know about their champ. And as we see Faker jump back onto Akali again, guys, she's in her creep wave, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, and this mini combo right here is one you can pull off on pretty much any champion in the game. It's simply auto-attacking and then queuing. Regardless of whether you're playing a support, bruiser, tank, marksman, mage, preceding your abilities with auto-attacks, especially in the laning phase, is going to help you get the most out of your trades, your fights. It even helps when CSing. So when you can, guys, and this will be when the enemy champion is in auto-attack range, auto, then your ability. Now, Akali misses out on an opportunity here, guys, to do some serious harm to Faker. And even though it's a very small window of opportunity, it could well be the best chance you have of killing your lane opponent. Now, Akali is about to hit level 2 of this melee minion. How do I know? Well, just look at her XP bar in the bottom left, the purple one. It's about to ascend. So that's the first tip here, guys, to pay close attention to your XP bar on your HUD, because not always is the wave going to give you a level up at the normal times. Like this wave, for example, in front of Akali has an extra range minion left over from wave number 1, so your XP is a little harder to track, but just check her XP bar, and that problem is fixed. So when this challenger Akali hits level 2, what do you guys think? Because I think she can kill Faker here. She has Ignite, a couple of stacks of Conqueror, and if she skills her E and lands it on Faker when he goes for this CS right here, it's first blood. But she plays really passive, allows Faker to get this minion for free, and what's funny is that when she does trade with Faker when he has level 2, she still wins it that hard. Imagine if he was still level 1. So always be ready, guys, to act on your level up, because the lane changes. You evolve in terms of stats and cooldowns, so make use of your evolution. Now this right here, guys, is one of the most 5-head plays anyone can pull off, and I'm going to teach you how. Just press B. That's it. Now, but we need to know why Akali is recalling here, because if I rewind it, you might be like, why doesn't she just shove or stay in the lane? And those are both legitimate questions, but the key detail here, guys, is that Faker has teleport. So when he TBs back to lane, even though he's not going to have an advantage in terms of items because he hasn't accrued enough gold to even buy Dark Seal, he will have a significant advantage in terms of health, and if Akali was to stay and play the lane on her current HP, she legit won't be able to do anything until Faker leaves the lane, which he won't because he can just pressure Akali into recalling and gain a huge experience advantage. So whenever you are against a champion with teleport, guys, in the early laning phase in particular, whether they recall or die, they are 99% of the time going to TP back into that lane. And remember, this takes 4 seconds, so you can't just recall after they do it. You have to foresee it. And if we turn this around, why can't Faker just walk back to lane here? Well, because the lane is going to freeze, and it will be way too close in terms of time if he can get back to the lane quick enough to shut the rest of the wave before Akali gets back to the lane herself. So TPing is absolutely necessary here. So this back may not seem that important, guys, but I guarantee you if this Akali wasn't challenger and didn't recall, Faker would have hard stomped just off the experience lead he would have attained. And as you can see, Akali returns to the lane to pick up most of the wave, most importantly the cannon, and she is full HP in level 3. This doesn't exist if she doesn't recall right before Faker's TP back to the mid lane. Now guys, here comes the solo kill. And we're going to get into a teeny weeny bit of Akali mechanics here, but for anyone, watching someone solo kill the GOAT is well worth it. So as this trade picks back up again, Akali is going to collect her passive after queuing Faker, and then Shrouds to restore some energy so she can queue again shortly afterwards. The movement speed and concealment are both useful as well, and notice what she does before she E's. She auto attacks. Oh, I'm so proud. And why is this so important? Conqueror stacks, right, and DPS. 12 of them, in fact. Now, you might be wondering why doesn't she use the second part of her E straight away? Like, why hold on to it? Well, she doesn't have enough energy to queue again, and to execute Faker and to give him the least amount of time possible to react to it, squeezing all that damage into a quicker combo is a lot harder to react to. So when I pause it, see how her Q is now available? And it is at this point where she recasts her E, auto attacks Faker again, and queues him to finish him off. And this is all in front of the enemy jungler. So those of you saying jungle diff on our last 0-11 Faker video, you like that? So yeah, straight up solo kill here, guys. Very nice indeed. Now this next tip I'm going to give you is one that is going to fix a problem so many players have. And it's more to do with your perspective of the game than anything. So after solo killing Faker and shoving the wave, Akali begins to recall. And all of a sudden a fight breaks out in the river. Now I want you guys to answer the jizz honestly here. How many of you would A, stay recalling, B, run to the fight, or C, make some other whack play? Well, if you went with A, stay recalling, I want you to pat yourselves on the back because that is easily the most optimal way of going about this little scenario. You see, Faker is already running back on the map at this point, guys, and even though Akali killed him, Faker has been able to do something Akali hasn't, buy items because he's been back to base. So despite Akali having a kill and experience lead, this hasn't really manifested yet or materialized. So when she chooses to fight this, and yes, even challenger Koreans make the wrong call sometimes, it's giving Faker and his team a bigger chance than they deserve to win this little skirmish, simply because Akali is sitting on gold and hasn't evolved, if you will. Gold only matters, guys, when you spend it, and seeing as you get golden experience from a kill, part of that kill means nothing until you invest. So Akali should stay recalling and ping her teammates back multiple times. Some players might look at this as being really selfish, but in solo queue, it is by far the most effective way of playing the game. For yourself, you fight on your terms. So when you're sitting on significant gold, guys, after you've taken down your opposite number, do not be tempted by whatever else is happening on the map. Get your revolution, and you can more often than not make the exact same play after backing and buying. So Faker and co get let off the hook here, and Akali has to blow a flash in the process. Now fortunately, Faker dies, so he can't capitalize on Akali's death and get right back in the game, but here we go. The second solo kill is about to happen. Now I'm going to let this play out for a bit, and there is one point I want to make here, and this isn't just for Akali, this is for any champion with any skill shot. You see this E Akali hits Faker with? This is the reason she is able to finish this play off with a kill. If she misses it, she obviously can't get back into Faker, like he can just run away. So to kill Faker, she has to land it, but how? Well, for any skill shot, guys, there are two big conditions that you can manipulate so as to increase your chances of landing them. So for single target skill shots like Akali E's and Ezreal Q's and Ahri charms, you have to have a line of sight. In other words, there cannot be anything blocking your skill. So you have to move in a certain direction in the lane or in the team fight to create space, to create an angle at which no other enemy can block that skill shot, including minions and monsters. So in this situation, Akali's E lands because Faker is the first target in that line. And the second, guys, is the distance from which you cast it. If you throw a skill shot out of max range, it is so much easier for the enemy to react to it and evade it. But if you throw it out closer to them, they don't have as much time to dodge it, which is why Akali legit headbutts Faker before using her E, and even God himself cannot dodge it, and Akali finishes off the kill. So when you want to improve your chances of landing your skill shots, guys, pay close attention to that line of sight and the distance of that primary target. You can change both of these with your positioning, just don't do it if it's going to put you in a world of trouble. Now Faker is going to die again here, and to make sure you don't die as much as this in your games, head on over to the GameLeap website when I stop ranting about Faker's deaths, because we have the most original, informative, creative content on the web that is guaranteed to help you climb the ranks this season. So what are you waiting for? Links down below. Now just a quick little tip for you Akali players here. When you E while casting the first part of your ultimate, Eing away from the enemy danger is always smart. So in this case, Faker's tower is the danger, and you save yourself from getting hit by an extra tower shot in the process, and you can do this in fights too. Do not E while ulting to end up closer to the enemy team. E away from that congestion. You're going to die and get caught out a lot less. As Faker cops a spear to the noggin and dies again. Now at this stage of the game, guys, as long as Akali and her team don't go gigaboo mentally, they win, as we see Faker die again. And Akali is going to pick up her final solo kill on Faker here, guys, and I think he's like 06, 07 after this, which is kind of nuts. But again, notice how Akali auto attacks before she queues. Even with this much of a lead, she is still applying the fundamental trading comboing idea and reaping the rewards, so don't forget it. Now I'm going to show you the scoreboard a minute later here, guys, and you can see the damage that's been done up until this point, and this is it. This is how Faker goes 0-11 for the second time in a month. Maybe this will turn into a monthly series if he keeps this up, you never know. So if you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure to let us know by liking the video, and also remember to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you do not miss tomorrow's episode. This has been Coach Cheese, until then, peace.